So less important, longer term thing that was mentioned in the report was replacing the radiators.
Right.
From what you said, I understand that, again, they're fit for purpose and therefore you don't see it as a priority.
Yeah, I suppose there's a couple of things with this. Is that the radiators themselves are mostly fit for purpose. They've been replaced where they've needed to be replaced. Generally, where people have removed them to, I don't know, plaster or paint behind or something, they've often been replaced with new ones.
Right.
Sometimes they start leaking, they start corroding, and they start leaking, and they get replaced, obviously.
So is it a bit like the windows that when something goes wrong,
well, sort of. It's a slightly more complicated thing because there's something else we don't necessarily do, which we could perhaps do that. It's probably still a professional service. Is we could get our systems cleaned, like what they call desludged.
Right.
So the action of radiators are generally made of steel. Pipework is generally made of copper. As it heats up, I can't remember what the exact reaction is. It creates something called magnetite, which is a suspended ionized iron particle in the system, and it collects at the bottom of the system, generally in the downstairs radiators, but it can collect anywhere. We have the original radiators are piped in a slightly unusual way. They come in at the top and out the bottom, so they collect sludge more. They're more likely to collect sludge. Generally, if you come in at the bottom and out of the bottom, the flow rate goes all the way across and it takes all the sediment with it. This does impair the efficiency because it means this stuff doesn't heat up. So, when you put your hand on the radiator and you've got cold spots, but it's hot at the top, that means it's full of water that's hot, but the bottom is full of sludge that doesn't heat up. You also get scale in heating systems and cylinders. Our systems will suffer far worse than an average system than that because it heats up so much more. Once you get to 65 degrees, the production scale goes up exponentially. And our system, as I'm sure everyone has noticed, when the boilers are on, the water is ridiculously hot, which is partly what you get with biomass. There's several other problems that are not really worth going into now with that. The radiators, so I would say the radiators themselves are not a priority to replace as en masse, but what could perhaps be worth considering is getting all of the heating systems professionally cleaned. Power flushed is what it's called. This is quite an expensive procedure. Perhaps a house this size, say £1,000 a house, can make a massive difference. I mean, they say that you can get 10 to 30% more efficiency, I think, out of your heating system, out of your boiler.
Yeah.
Reduce your bills by that much. I don't know what it counts off here. There's lots of other ways we could reduce our bills.
Yeah.
But it will also increase the life of those systems, with the proviso that if you've got an old steel radiator that is full of sludge, and then you power flush it with these very powerful noxious chemicals, which is again something that people might not be up for, it can clean it so efficiently that you can cause damage to the radiator. Say it might be the rust that's all that's holding it together.
Right.
This can happen.
So it washes away the rust, and then there's holes in the radiator, and you get
so you get pinholes in it that only come out from the inside. Might be a problem. There's a kind of reduced. I'm not even going to say that. There's a reduced version of this that you can do yourself. One can do oneself, but it's quite involved. You kind of got to get it right. But we might be up for considering. You can put some desludger in it. It'll cost you 40 quid. You just get it to run as normal, and then you take it out and refill it again with the appropriate chemicals.
Yeah.
We could do that. That might